So, is Redux any good for programming? To find that out, let's start with retro games. In retro games there's a single idea and the whole game is all about it. In principle, you could hack such a game together in a matter of hours. However, to keep things interesting, let's start with the design. The design of a retro game consists of three distinct viewpoints. Firstly, you need a game concept that describes the idea behind the game. Then you need to decompose the idea to identify what are the actors in the game. And lastly, you need to list the functionality of the actors to show how the dynamics of the game is realized. Let's start with the game concept. The game is called daBoing and it is basically a version of the famous Breakout game. So we have a ball that bounces off the walls. One of the walls is missing and the player tries to keep the ball on the field by moving a paddle. There are also bricks on the field. When the ball hits a brick, it disappears and the player gets points for it. Bricks that have already disappeared come back in a random order, so that there are always some bricks left. Moreover, each time a brick is hit by the ball moves faster. To keep things interesting, there are also bumpers on the field. The bumpers bounce the ball to odd directions. So, what are the actors in the daBoing game? Obviously, the ball is one of them, as is the paddle. Similarly, each brick is an actor. In addition, there are also abstract actors such as the field with the walls, the bumpers, and the score display. As for the required functionality, the ball has to be initialized first. You also need procedures for drawing and erasing the ball, as well as for moving it and bouncing it from objects. The paddle is also initialized first. In addition, you also need procedures for drawing and erasing the paddle, as well as for moving the paddle on the field. The bumpers don't move, so there are only two procedures, initialization and a procedure for drawing the bumpers. As for the bricks, they are initialized first. You also need procedures for drawing and erasing the bricks, as well as for adding a new brick after it has been hit and erased by the ball. The walls in the field don't move either, so there are only two procedures, initialization and a procedure for drawing the walls. As for the score display, it is initialized first. Then you also need procedures for drawing and updating the score value after the ball has successfully hit a brick. So that's the design for the daBoing game. There is actually quite a number of procedures that need to be implemented, so it is not at all clear how easy it is to implement this with Redux. Anyhow, that's the topic for the next time.